Buongiorno. This is Amir. Yes, the same guy in the suit, sitting in front of you, probably a little nervous. My thesis is guided and supervised by Professor Luca Maria Francesco Fabris, and the topic is architecture criticism, a role in decline. This thesis has been more than just a final step of my architecture education. It has been a journey of growing as an architect, learning to look at the past with clarity and the future with a new lens. Coming to the workflow, first I begin by understanding the fundamental role of architecture journalism because, as we all know, we need a strong foundation before designing any superstructure. Second, I explore the impact of architecture journalism on shaping architectural discourse. This was like creating a platform for my thesis. Then I analyzed two major magazines, Casabella and the Architecture Review, to observe how architecture criticism has gradually changed over years, like creating a tall structure over platform. Third, I conducted a series of interviews, some successful, some heroic failures, featuring Francesco Delco, David Chipperfield, Alejandro Aravena, Sara Bhanti, and Apurva Bose Datta. And this was like adding some architecture element to the building. And finally, the conclusion. A conclusion so sharp that even ChatGPT wouldn't be able to generate it, not even with a premium membership. Let's get started. What is criticism? It is the act of forming an evaluative judgment about the quality of something. So, what is architectural criticism? It involves analyzing a structure's design, execution, and then communicating what is significant about it, whether positive or negative. The people who carry out this work are known as critics. According to Wayne Atto, a critique has three primary roles: description, interpretation, and judgment, and two secondary roles: criticism of criticism and criticism of art. Now coming to the role of magazine. When we talk about famous architects or radical movements, we often forget one key player: magazines. Architecture journalism didn't just document architecture, it helped invent it. Futurism exploded only after its manifesto was printed in Le Figaro. Le Corbusier became Le Corbusier through the magazine of L'Esprit Nouveau. A little magazine acted like portable utopia, a small experimental space where drawing, manifestos, and critics tested new way of living and building. Shelter in the 1930s connected modern architecture to social housing and New Deal reforms, arguing for decent homes as a public right. In 1970, Slade, the voice of the new architecture movement, pushed architecture toward feminism, workers' rights, and community control. Across all these examples, architecture journalism is not just the side activity. It's a tool of design, a space of resistance, and a catalyst that keep reshaping how architecture should look, work, and whom to serve. Now we come to the analysis. From the earlier research, it was evident that magazine played a major role in shaping architectural discourse. After an initial survey of architecture media, I selected Casabella and the Architecture Review for an in-depth study while excluding other publications like Thomas and Al Croquis because their editorial focus didn't align with the goal of my research. This time frame 1980 to 2005 was chosen deliberately. This period marked a significant transition phase in architecture. It witnesses the rise of postmodernism, deconstructivism, digital evolution, globalization, and growing environmental awareness. These focuses not only shaped architectural production but also continue to influence the discipline today. By studying this transitional era, my aim was to understand how architecture criticism evolved and transformed under the impact of these shifting culture, technology, and ideological conditions. Now, coming to the analysis pattern, for both magazines, I examined one issue per year, reading all the articles, summarizing each one, and labeled the type of the content. Starting with Casabella, its index looked like this, and in my thesis, the Excel sheet you will find will be like this. It will have the year, the issue number, the magazine director, the topic, the type of article, and the short description and summarization of the content. For Casabella, I analyzed issue from 1983 to 2005 mainly under two directors, Gregotti and Francesco Delco. I followed the same method for the architecture review. The index has the same structure and the research covers the period from 1995 to 2004. My initial plan was to study only Casabella, but I realized that to understand the decline or transformation of criticism more clearly, a comparison between two magazines was necessary. Finding the analysis. To make sense of the result, I organized the finding into first, table showing the type of article published each year. Second, bar chart tracking how their proportion changed over year. A key observation was that critical articles were inconsistent. Articles appear sporadically, most frequent between 1983 to 1995, and then disappear several times. To simplify this analysis further, I divided all the content into two major categories: project-related article and non-project related article, which include theories, editorials, and criticism. The results were very clear. After 1995, there was not a single year in which non-project article outnumbered project articles. Even in 1996 to 1997, it appears higher in the chart only because it combines two-year issue, which was a transitional moment when Casabella changed director. A similar breakdown of analysis was carried out for the architecture review. The key observations were as follows. Project articles were dominant in every issue. Critical content formed only a marginal section of the magazine. The editorial voice remained steady but minimal throughout the period. There was a slight rise in general article in the year following 1995, which was also been seen in the bar chart. When breaking the content down again into project versus non-project, the pattern became very clear. In the architecture review, the project article consistently outnumbered non-project articles. This trend remained stable because there was no change in the editorial leadership. Coming to the interview stage, I first reached out to Francesco Delco, the current director of Casabella. I asked him about the shift from critical content to descriptive content in Contemporary Architecture magazine. He said that issue was too complex for a one-line answer and shared his email for the detailed response. But unfortunately, I didn't receive one. The next person I approached was Alejandro Aravena, who has been long correspondent of Casabella. I asked him what he think the future of architecture publication and criticism might look like. His answer was revealing. He said that the best article he had read recently were written by non-architects. What he meant is that an external non-professional perspective often captures what the general public truly perceive, make criticism more authentic and accessible. After that, I conducted a long and more structured interview with Sara Banti, editor-in-chief of Abitare, followed by the conversation with Apurva Datta, a journalist from India. Their interview and conclusion are as follows. Question. In my thesis, I saw that from 1980 to 2005, magazines like Casabella moved from the strong critical text to more simple project description. Do you agree? And why do you think this happened? Sara Banti, editor-in-chief of Abitare, says yes, this change is clear. She explains that until about 1990, architecture was seen as technical field and the magazines were written for a small expert audience. The language was complex and very academic. Then from the late 1990s, cities started using architecture for image and tourism. For example, like Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, architecture became more popular. The writing style changed too. More image, more stories, more dialect language, wider media attention. Apurva Bosdatta, an architecture journalist, also agreed that things have changed but added another layer. Today, there are many more magazine websites and writers. The audience is bigger and more diverse. Because of this, writing can be descriptive, analytic, or critical. And sometimes commercial pressure pushes magazine to show beautiful projects rather than deep critique. Both agree critical writing is still very important, but it now lives alongside faster and more visible and more descriptive content. Within my research, a few clear patterns emerged. First, both Casabella and the Architecture Review reduced deep interpretative essay and shifted to a shorter project-led description. At Casabella, this became stronger after the 1990 change from architect editor Vittorio Gregotti to historian editor Francesco Delco, showing how the editor's background shapes what gets published. In the Architecture Review, the once combative outrage voice softens and appears less often. In some earlier cases, criticism has also become very personal, targeting architects themselves rather than only their work. Second, wider media shift, star architecture, city branding, and the broader non-specialist audience made magazine favor quick project story over long critiques. Third, strong criticism need time and close observation, which today's fast image culture rarely allows. Still, criticism has not vandalized, it has been reduced, relocated, and spread across fewer magazine, books, online debates. You can easily find in the comment section of a lot of pages where people express their criticism openly on comment section.